Hello, I'm Shaylee Jinsaid, and you're on my channel, Get Real. I'm especially here for anyone who takes care of a child, a parent, a grandparent, a teacher, maybe a foster parent. Today I'm going to talk about parenting and leadership. And last time we talked about connecting with your child through play. We had some great ideas. I enjoyed the comments. Thank you for leaving those. I actually do have a great time playing with the kiddos, but I usually don't take pictures and post them on social media or anything. One of the most fun things that we did this last week, though, I will share. My grandson was playing soccer, and so we did a soccer follow the leader, which he's learning to control the ball. He's about 4 years old, and so he's slowly dribbling the ball around, and I'm running in circles and figure eights, and he's learning to control the ball, and we take turns going back and forth. Another favorite game he has is hide and go seek pumpkins. So we're still in the fall feel of everything, and I have some miniature pumpkins on my porch and the table there, and so we were having a lot of fun going and just taking turns, kind of like hide and seek. You know, he would hide the pumpkins in the flower bed or in the post box where the mail comes, and I was hiding them in the cat's box or some little place, and we were just having a great time. So just some ideas of kicking back and connecting with your kid. But today I'm going to talk about what I understand, parenting, taking the responsibility to provide some vision for your child. Every child, they're going to feel a lot more secure knowing that there's a responsible, capable adult in their life that's not only able to meet their physical needs, but also able to provide some direction for them. So while I'm not a big fan of an autocratic, overly authoritarian parenting style, I do consider myself a little bit of an assertive parenting style. But I think just sitting back and getting out a pen and paper, being intentional and mindful. When you have a child or you're in charge of a child, you need to think intentionally of what you're wanting your outcome to be, not only with them today and this week, maybe down the line. Character traits, virtues, your philosophy is going to be part of this. It's just part of the bias. If you want them to be an honest person who's brave and courageous and is able to face failure and still be perseverant, if you want them to develop some patience and long suffering, gentleness with others, if you want them to maybe learn to problem solve and have some critical thinking. Write out your character traits, get your vision going. I'm very much a proponent of allowing my kids a certain amount of discomfort so that they can meet a challenge, learn to focus, learn to overcome that challenge, and then feel really strong and happy and see that success. I think that's a key to not being afraid to try things and maybe getting out there and doing something different than what they did yesterday. And I think that everyone comes with their own set of, this is really important to me. But the default is that we do what we grew up doing. Whatever parents before us did, we have a default setting. And if we don't want to be a cookie cutter, and I think every parent has, there's plenty of room for us to say, hey, there's no perfect parents. We don't expect parents to be perfect. There's always things that we can do better, and there's always things that we can appreciate. Even in the most difficult of circumstances, we can be thankful. Hey, mom was there, she gave me a good meal, or dad was there, he provided for us, we had a place to live, or grandma down the street, she was there to listen, or my neighbor, they were there. You can always bring some gratitude to the situation no matter how hard it is. But the default is to either be exactly that way just by learned behavior, or to backlash against that and just reject it all. And the reaction of throwing all of it out sometimes is not always that great either, because there's usually those little nuggets of things that, oh, that was a creative thing that mom or dad did, or that was a good thing, that we all sat down together and had a meal. There are always some good things. So I'm just challenge you to be mindful, intentional, find out what it is, how you're going to respond. One of the things I love to do is bring out my vision. Here, it's probably backward to you. I don't know. The vision is at the bottom. It's the seat of what we really want to accomplish. Like I was talking about, you have this goal. Maybe you want an academic vision of maybe my child can read by the time they're 6. An academic vision of, oh, well, this is a milestone. I can see this is within my child's parameters. They are experiencing no real issues. I think it's reasonable for them to be able to count to 100 by the time they're 5, or know all their colors by the time they're 3. And we do that a lot with academics, but I want to bring this all out to virtue and maybe character, and maybe even physical strength or skills. Maybe your kids, that's a great thing for them to learn how to dribble a basketball, or for them to learn to run in their lane in track, or for them to learn to open a can with a normal can opener, or learn to sweep with a small broom or dustpan. These are all things that we can teach our children. Maybe they can learn to set the table. Maybe they can learn to use their little vac. And there are things that build a lot of confidence and self-respect in them when they know that they've been useful, they've done something important. It's a big person job. And I think that's great. So we have our vision. And then as we go back and we say, okay, well, I don't want to incorporate this. I want to do this differently. I do want to do that. Humility and what I call courageous honesty come into the picture, because we do have to recognize that we come with a lot of baggage, and we come with preconceived ideas, and we need to review all of those. And being a Christian, I do feel that it's important to review everything through a lens of scripture and prayer, and ask the Lord to show us and guide us with his wisdom. If you're not a Christian, you still can look at things honestly and with humility and decipher, is this really working? The people that I see around me who have happy children, who have happy relationships, and their children are grown and they still want to come over to their house and want them to watch their children, what kind of parenting was going on? What kind of communication was going on? What kind of lifestyle organization was going on? What kind of structure was going on? And so we all need a blueprint. And we all need a headspace that we're coming to this and saying, I'm mindfully and intentionally going to do these things. And whenever we have that leadership in our own lives, that focus, that we know what we're on target for, we can plan. We have that, get up in the morning and, you might not have a real tight schedule, but if you have a routine, you know where you're going. You know if you have an appointment. You know if you're on track, if you're late. And the same thing is true in your child's life. You can't just wake up someday and say, oh, I've got a baby, and just muddle through, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want to do today, and expect in 10 or 15 or 20 years for that to turn out exactly the way it would be just absolutely the best, because things happen and we have to be able to responsibly and responsibly react and plan in our lives. And so I'm just going to challenge you to be mindful, intentional, not only with your playtime, your connecting time, your fun time, but also with your goals, with the kind of things you want to bring into your child's life. I know one thing that I absolutely am thankful I did was read to my child. From the time I knew that I was expecting, I would read to the child, and I would read daily to the child. And I also loved being able to sing with my children and have that togetherness and that connecting. And I loved cuddling and rocking and holding them first thing in the morning and then right before bed. Those were important things. Those were milestones in our day. And even though a lot of things didn't always happen the same way, they were still good. habits and connections. And if you have this idea of, oh, I want to be this kind of parent, I want to be maybe a little more lenient or a little more strict or a little more this or a little more that, or I want to make sure my kids have this ability to come to me and talk to me about anything at any given time. I want to be available. These are things that you want to write in. These are things that you want to revisit. And when you write them in, go back and revisit them that month, 6 months later, a year later, and add, revise. Your child is going to grow, and you need to revise your milestones. You need to revise your vision. You need to revise your focus and your long range plans. And this will also help you if you know, okay, this is the direction we're going. These are the things that I'm looking at wanting to instill in my child. How do I get all the other adults on board? How do I get the other parents on board, or the teachers on board, or my daycare helper on board, or my grandma on board, or their other family on board? And how can I communicate better with my child so they understand my intention? I'm not here to make your life miserable. I'm here because I have this plan. And by the time you get to be a little bit older, I want you to be happy, and I want you to be safe, and I want you to be strong, and I want you to be brave, and I want you to know what it is to be able to wake up and say, I can do this. I can face the day. Mom has given me this equipment. Dad has given me this equipment. My teacher has encouraged me in this way. I know I can do this. So I just want to leave with you. I never want to shame or blame or add guilt or burdens to parents. I don't think that's helpful, and I don't think that that's ever something that you just need to wallow in. But I do encourage you and challenge you to really examine where your goals are and where your intentionality is, and maybe set a few of those today and revisit them in the next month or so. So again, I'm Shaylee Jinsaid with Get Real, and I hope that I've given you some real ideas. Talk to you later.